Unresolved problem segment tonight. As we reported, there's still plenty of dissent over Guantanamo Bay. Joining us now from Washington is Katherine Bierman, a former Air Force captain and presently counterterrorism counsel for the group Human Rights Watch. All right, you heard those interviews. First time that's ever happened. How do you react?
Bill, I think it's great you're talking to the interrogators, and I want to make one very important point. If these guys are as bad as the Bush administration has said they are, if in fact there are people down there responsible for 9/11, for war crimes, for terrorism, they should be brought to justice, and that has not happened. That's an extremely important point.
So your point is that you want the military tribunals to be quicker?
No, I want the military tribunals to go away because these tribunals aren't what Americans or the rest of the world think fair trials should be.
All right,
I think that people should be prosecuted, and should be prosecuted under a system that we can look at as legitimate.
All right, so you don't want military tribunals. You want the Moussaoui situation, right? You want the civilian court with the lawyers. Moussaoui took 4 years. 4 years to get.
Well, let me tell you this, Bill. I was
bottom.
at the military commission that was trying Ali Hamza al-Bahoul, and it almost made me cry when he was able to stand up and say that he was boycotting the proceedings because they were illegitimate. And the problem is that he was right. That was a tragedy down there, Bill. And I think that these people should be sorted through, get the bad guys out, send the rest of them home.
Okay, but it's not that easy. Obviously it's not that easy. But I just want to get this on a record. You don't believe in the war on terror that military tribunals should handle the adjudication of these cases. You want civilian lawyers in a federal court someplace in the States. That's what you want.
Bill, there are people at Guantanamo who could have been prosecuted through military commissions had they been properly constituted. Let's get back to how they're treated into the interrogations,
Well, why
Bill.
don't you answer my question, Counselor? It's a pretty easy question. Why do you want the detainees tried in civilian courts within the United States?
Bill, they should be tried in civilian courts or in court-martials, or they could have been tried in military commissions if they've been put together properly from day one. It's a little late for that now.
Why? Why? I mean, these are prisoners of war. They're in a prisoners of war
Bill,
camp.
it's funny that you're saying they're prisoners of war because the Bush administration doesn't agree with you. They specifically said they cannot be prisoners of war, and they forewent the process that the U.S. military has used for decades for sorting through people on the battlefield. Right. And the Bush administration said specifically these guys are not POWs as a group. No individualized
That's because of the Geneva Conventions deal. But both you and
No, that's because the Bush administration decided they didn't want to risk that somebody might be a POW.
Okay.
If they were POWs, we wouldn't be having this conversation, Bill.
The conversation is this. You don't trust your government, a government that you served as an Air Force captain. You don't trust your government to try these people fairly. That's what it's all about.
Bill, when I took my commissioning oath, I swore to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And there's some very important things in the Constitution which are also human rights principles. A fair trial. You get an attorney of your choice.
And you don't believe the military tribunal, the 3 military judges with the JAGs will give these people a fair trial? It's flat out you don't believe it.
That's not what they're getting, Bill. That's not what we're getting at the military commissions. Let's talk about torture at Guantanamo. I think that's something that really interests you.
Go ahead.
You yourself has called for that there should be a special prosecutor or it should be an investigation, independent investigation to detainee abuse. I agree with that perfectly because I think there's a lot of conflicting information, some very credible accounts, not just from former detainees themselves who have been released by the United States, but by FBI agents who've said they've seen things down there that amount to torture.
All right, but
so I think you're absolutely right. There should be a really good investigation.
You don't believe the Church report, then? You don't believe the report by Vice Admiral A.T. Church that said there were eight cases of substantiated detainee abuse, all of which were relatively minor in their physical nature. Look,
Bill,
here's what I'm trying to get at.
I don't think there's yet been an investigation which has been appropriately empowered to take it as far as
I don't object to an independent counsel investigation. But what I do object to is you and the Human Rights Watch leveling accusations you can't back up, and you can't back them up.
Bill, let's talk about some facts. Let's talk about the FBI agents who witnessed detainees shackled in the fetal position for 18 to 24 hours, urinating and defecating on themselves. They were so crazed they had yanked out piles of their own hair. Let's talk about allegations which were substantiated.
Those are allegations, and that is all they are.
Those are allegations made by FBI agents. You don't trust your government to be able to do that? I think there's a lot of controversy.
The FBI agents have never been on this program. We've never seen them, Counselor. They won't step up, and until they do, they don't mean anything. But I appreciate your point of view.
In this kind of circumstance.
All right,
Bill,
I appreciate your point of view.
Let's talk about this. Yeah.
We got to run, and I appreciate your point of view.